The movie's ridiculous.
Movie's
Oh, then
great.
there's the part with Joan of Arc where she's leading the aerobics.
Yeah, yeah.
That movie's so dumb.
The movie's so good. We should watch that again.
Sure.
Agreed. Agreed. The movie's really good. The second one isn't as good. I don't really understand what happens in the
I
second
don't
movie.
know if it's...
I think they fight Satan, maybe? Or no,
No,
they
it's
did death. Yeah.
They challenge him to games, and then he keeps winning at the games.
What's
Does
the-
death keep winning, or they keep winning?
I don't remember.
Is it still for like a school project?
I don't know. I
No.
just remember they play a lot of games. No, they die, so they have to fight death for their lives.
Yeah, they challenge death. It's like Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy,
Right.
except they don't befriend death at the end, I don't think. Well, I guess in the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, they don't befriend death either. He's more of like a slave.
Slash
No.
roommate.
He's kind of a slave, but he's also their best friend for life.
Oh yeah, is that the rule?
He's,
Is
like,
that he has
forced to
to?
be
Yeah.
their best friend for life. That's awesome.
If he lost, he had to be their best friend for life.
I forgot. They play fucking the one where you limbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
The one where
what's the name of that game?
I know, I had to think about it for a minute there. Sorry, I can't think of limbo without thinking of like small children getting eaten by giant spiders.
Yeah.
Woo! Because no one plays regular games anymore. Fuck that.
Yeah. The game is super good. Actually, well, the beginning of it is my favorite part, and then later it's like, once it gets all industrial, I'm like, I don't really
No.
care.
Yeah.
Like,
That
I'd
was
rather
close.
just be in the forest all the time.
Yeah. Also, like, it gets less interesting and scary, I think, at that point, too.
Right, you're just kind of like puzzles.
And then it just ends.
I haven't actually finished it.
What?
I
The game is
got-
like 2.5 hours long.
I know, but like I got to the industrial part, and then I was like, this is just a puzzle-solving game that I'm not really intrigued by anymore.
Right, like the atmosphere
It
is
felt like I
completely
was just
different.
playing like an iPhone game, basically.
Wow. I will let you know that Limbo was one of the best games of the year that it came out.
Yeah, I agree. Actually,
How
I don't
dare
know
you
if- I
compare it
don't
to an
know-
iPhone game?
I don't know what year it came out.
That's
I didn't
like
say
saying-
it was an iPhone game. It just felt like the same mentality.
You're the guy who goes into the fucking Game of the Year awards voting for Clash of Clans to win.
Should have won.
Let's be fair, Clash of Clans should have won. Witcher 3 doesn't even compare.
Oh, no one plays Rocket League. Actually, I have no idea what the like contenders were.
I don't know. I know that Rocket League was like best indie game though,
I'm sure. Yeah.
and or one of the best. It was either best indie game or I know it was best sports racing game.
Really? That's
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it would have been. Aside from like Witcher, what else came out last year?
I mean, they could have
So
won
much
Game
shit.
of the Year. Bloodborne was really good, but I think it's
Yeah.
too niche. Witcher. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't think Fallout 4
Yeah.
was even a contender, really.
Great.
Let's be fair. It's a good game, but it's not like Game of the Year material, especially when like every game that came out last year was amazing.
Yeah. I think I could like if someone was like I don't really
Oh, no.
get.
Oh!
Man.
So close.
If someone was like I don't really get Fallout or like I don't really like it that much, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I understand.
Well, that, and then like, I think the people who enjoyed Fallout most were people who never played Fallout before. Essentially.
Really?
Yeah. Because there's a bunch of people that this was their first game. And I think a lot of people who enjoy Fallout games, like have played other Fallout games, I think had a lot more gripes with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We haven't talked about it at all.
Really?
I haven't really heard about it.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't wanted to talk about it that much because I haven't been able to play it.
Yeah.
But was it not as well received as people thought it would be?
So it was super well received by like critics and stuff. I think that there's a lot of stuff with it that makes it not so good. I think it's a really good game. Like I would say like a B+ game.
As far as Fallout goes, though.
As far as Fallout goes, I think it's kind of like a C or D Fallout game.
Really?
Yeah. And I think Emily will probably agree with me on that.
Preferring what, like New Vegas or something over? it?
Yeah, like New Vegas and 3 I think are both better.
Really?
Yes.
That's fascinating.
And I've never played the original, so take that with a grain of salt. But
Right.
I have friends who have, and their opinions are basically the same as mine. Where like,
Huh.
there's no real characterization. Like you can't roleplay your character at all, really. Your character, because it's voiced, is very much just like you can play it as like one person, basically.
Right. Which is like a large part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And people were upset about how like few options there were to do things. Like in other Fallout games, like if you needed to fix something, usually there'd be multiple options for it. Like maybe you have a high enough science skill or repair skill or something. And there's no skill checks other than speech checks, basically.
Okay.
So the only time you ever have to have like a specific point in like a stat in order to make it past an option or something like that, it's for speech. Like all of your other stuff is for because then you're like, okay, I want to make a character who's focused around doing sciencey based things. There's never any point where that's pertinent, I guess, where you're like you feel rewarded for being science based, if that makes sense, or intelligence
Well, I figured
based.
it was more like an additional thing as opposed to like you are not allowed to complete it unless you hit this mark.
No, but I'm saying like in the regular Fallout games, there was like, sure you could do that with science, but you might also be able to do it with repair, and it would have like a different set of dialogue
or
or
if you had like a high enough.
right if you had enough high enough skill in that. So it felt like a pertinent thing, like it felt important, and like your stats had like some kind of impact to the actual gameplay, and they kind of don't in this one. Like if you had low enough intelligence in some places, your speech would be different. Like you had different speech if your intelligence was super low and you just acted like a dumbass, basically. So there was like speech-based checks that you couldn't do because you were so dumb, essentially.
Right.
And it opens up different dialogue and stuff. Like all of that stuff is in the other games, and they're not in this one. Also, none of your dialogue has like impact on anything, so you can say anything, and the other characters will always interact with you the same. So they give you options, but
Was it in an attempt to make it a little more accessible for people who had never done it before?
I think, but then again, it's not even like that unaccessible for people who, to begin with. Where it's like the choices made more sense. You had way more dialogue options, but like I could see it being like dumbed down for a broader audience kind of thing.
Since they knew it was going to be like
a huge release.
Yeah.
But it just feels like it feels exactly that. It feels very dumbed down.
Sucks.
Another thing I had a huge issue with, and I think Emily is in the same boat, is that like Fallout is really well known for like quirky weirdness, and there's not a whole lot of that in this game. Like it's there, but it's not as frequent. Yeah, it takes itself a lot more seriously. There's a few goofy things, but it's not as much. Like the side quests are basically all the same side quests. They're all like, go here, kill raiders, come back, and if it's not raiders, then it's super mutants or like Mirelurks. But that's like basically every mission, as opposed to having like weird, interesting characters that you're trying to help for like weird, interesting reasons.
Yeah.
My brain automatically goes to like Tenpenny Tower or something like that, where that quest is super cool in Fallout. Is that New Vegas or 3, Emily?
That's
3. Stuff like that. Where there's just nothing that seems that interesting. Like every time I find an interesting place that I think is going to be cool, it feels super barren. And then maybe there's like 3 terminals, but mostly it just ends with like a chest full of loot that's leveled, and so you're like, well, it's not that interesting.
Right. Do you think that they were sort of appealing to, like, it sounds, given that there's no real difference no matter what you do, that it sounds a little more like Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, it feels a lot like Skyrim.
Yeah,
it
it's
feels
like Skyrim in a different world.
Yeah, it
but
feels
not in a good way.
Yeah,
Right,
but
right,
not
right.
in the good ways.
Well, I think that's what the difference is, right? Like, I think if you were a Fallout fan, then you'd play Fallout, and if you were an Elder Scrolls fan, then you'd play that. Not that you wouldn't play both, but that the differences were distinct for a reason,
Right.
I guess.
Yeah.
And that a lot of people still really, really enjoy Skyrim, so maybe they were just like, hey, it seems like more people like the sort of less statistically heavy play and value the immersion a little more or something. I don't know.
Right. I don't know. Like, overall, the universe feels like kind of empty. Like the world feels kind of empty. Like it's big. There's lots of stuff to explore, but everything. It doesn't suffer from the exact same thing that Skyrim had, where like every dungeon was like literally copy paste the exact same dungeon almost. Like there's a lot of cool areas, but the areas don't have any cool payoff, basically. Where it's like, here's this cool looking place, but there's nothing going on. Or we're gonna set up for a cool story, but like there's no payout for it. There's no reason for us to be here. We don't meet any of the characters. They're all dead, or you know, it's a ghoul. You're like, oh, okay.
Right.
I'm also upset that like every special weapon is basically hidden in like a place that doesn't matter. I was really hoping that you would have to do stuff for them, or like do missions for them, or like a thing that I think that they could have done is being like, we're gonna have you face like a special enemy, if that makes sense. Like, oh, the Cryolator. The Cryolator is an easy example, but like the Cryolator is this like flamethrower style thing, but instead of throwing flames, it throws ice, right? Like it freezes stuff.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I was like, you find it at the very beginning, right? Like you're about to leave the vault and it's locked behind a case, and he's like, I'm coming back for you later, right? And I guess it makes a little bit of sense because the vault that you're in is like cryostasis themed. But it'd been really nice to have been like, oh, you find an area, like maybe even in that same vault that you just can't go into until later, where someone survived the cryostasis or something and is like gone crazy, and they've just become like a knockoff Mr. Freeze kind of a person, where like they're like hang out in this cryostasis vault. They have this weapon that is basically a flamethrower, but it shoots ice. It freezes things. Like it would have been interesting to see that enemy / that character, and like had to fight him or do a quest for him or something. But they didn't.
Instead of just being empty lore.
Yeah, as opposed to it's here because it's a vault. It revolves around cryostasis, and you're like, okay.
That's in. Oh man.
No.
Yeah.
I really like the main story for Fallout 4, though.
Yeah.
Think it's my favorite Fallout story.
I've been enjoying this main story too, and that's about like the biggest thing for me. Like I have no want to do the side missions, and that's basically why all I'm doing is the main story. But I agree. I think the story is really good. I would say that I like the New Vegas story better, but because you can end it so quickly, I don't know if I do. But it's cool that there's different ways to do it, I guess, for the New Vegas one. I definitely think it's better than the Fallout 3 story, but I thought the twists that were in it were pretty good. I should have seen them coming, and I didn't, like an idiot. Like, I saw it coming moments before it happened, you know? Like, it wasn't like, reveal! But it was more like, oh, they're about to do a reveal. What's the reveal? I know what the reveal is.
The dog is your ex-lover in dog form.
Exactly. Like, they just put the brain of our wife into a dog, and she wasn't actually shot at the beginning. Spoilers, your wife is shot at the beginning, and or husband if you decided to be a female.
I love my dog husband.
I know. I'm pretty sure I pawned off my dog wedding ring, though.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
You're a monster.
I don't remember. I just know that in my inventory I only have one. Oh no! I never opened the cryo thing in the place when I left, so I never got her wedding ring. That's what it was. It's also kind of misleading that they have like rings in the game. Like in the previews, you're like, wedding ring. You're like, oh, you can wear rings, but like the wedding ring is the only ring that you ever get. So there's no like, yeah, your dog wife's wedding ring. But no, and I actually like a lot of the side characters too. I think that's the other thing is like, as much as I hate the fact that you can't like be evil or anything, I think a lot of the side characters are cool, and that some of them are morally ambiguous. Like I think Kate's pretty badass. Is it Kate?
Yeah, Kate's the best.
Kate's badass. I really love Nick. Nick's awesome. The only one I so far have no like care for what their side quests would be is the fucking synth courser that you get. He just seems like the blandest character of all time.
I never met him.
Oh.
Or is he from the Institute?
Yeah.
Oh.
He wears like a black. He's black and he wears a black trench coat. He's like the first mission you do for the Institute when you get there.
Okay, I think I wasn't allowed to be friends with him.
Oh,
What does that mean?
My morals did not line up with his.
Oh, I see. Nice. 0-second goal.
thank you.
Let's
But
get this kickoff goal too.
he's basically just Terminator, right? Like, but like not like Terminal Arnold Schwarzenegger, like in the second movie Terminator. He's like first movie Terminator, where he doesn't have a personality and all he does is kill things.
Want to know a secret?
What?
I haven't seen any Terminator movie.
What? For real? They're good.
Dude.
The first two are great. The third one is not great, but it's kind of goofy.
Just watch the first two, they're really good.
Yeah, the first two are awesome. I've heard Genesis is confusing and not awesome.
I heard it. Yeah, it was not awesome.
Was it the newest one?
Yeah.
It was alright.
Genesis with a Y.
Yeah, there's Genesis with the Y, and everybody has a time traveling device. There's like 4 time traveling devices in that movie.
I'm really upset that Amelia Clark was in that movie, just because like she's so good.
Yeah, I mean that's like the feeling I had with like Peter Dinklage and Pixels. It's just
Yeah.
it happens, man.
Did that movie come out?
Yeah, it came out. What was it? I think that Ridiculous 6, which is the one that's on Netflix, has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Whoa.
I'm excited to watch it. At some point I will sit down and watch it, but I don't hate myself enough yet.
Why are you gonna watch it?
Just because I want to see how bad it is.
You'll
Is it-
watch that,
Wow.
but you won't watch Pixels with me.
I'll watch Pixels with you. I just haven't gotten in the right mindset of self-torture yet.
That was Aiden, by the way. Aiden.
Nice shot, Miss Emily. But, yeah, no. It's not something I'm super excited for, but it's something I want to check out nonetheless.
Isn't he gonna make like 6 movies for Netflix?
Something like
Oh,
that.
this is gonna be so cool!
Oh! Oh!
Yes!
That was beautiful!
Wow.
That was amazing!
Oh my god.
That was so far off the wall.
Uh,
Holy shit. That was great. That one's recorded.
Yeah, I'm saving that replay.
I'm also recording right now. So there's that on top of that. But yeah, I don't know. Like Fallout, I think Fallout's a really good game, like Fallout 4.
yeah.
I don't think it's a good Fallout game, and I don't see myself replaying it as much as I replay the other ones.
Right.
Which is a huge issue, I think. Like when you're playing a game like that, where you're like, I want to make a different character that I can play through it like this, and you can't because the game just will not let you.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's strange too, because it seemed like they were going for, you know, a Fallout game that everyone will love.
Yeah, I think they did a Fallout game that everyone will love, but they
Sounds like they got rid of some things that make it distinctly Fallout, though.
yeah, exactly. That's what they kept the world and the ambience, which is cool. The music's really good. It's the music from Fallout 3, so you know you're like, well, it's the music from Fallout 3, but it kept a decent amount of its goofiness. Sorry, everybody, but like I just alt tabbed. Don't no. Well, I alt tabbed, but it ended up in the perfect place. It kept a lot of the
Emily.
goofiness
I can't believe I missed that one.
and the universe, but yeah, I think it did like kind of blandify it. I don't know, like
Yeah.
whatever they do to white bread to make it white bread, they
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah.
They took
How did they
all
do
the
white bread.
you know where they take regular bread and they take out all like the nutrients and stuff.
They inject it and then, like, suck it all out.
Yeah, exactly.
And then eat the goo.
And then they enrich it and they're like, all right, cool.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, white bread is like it's a science machine monster.
That was
But yeah, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Like I think there's in a lot of ways it's really fun. And the gunplay is awesome. Like the game itself feels really nice. But I don't think it makes up for a lot of the things that it took away.
right.
And the weird thing is like I wouldn't say it would be less work, but I think adding, you know, voice dialogue for the main character was probably a lot of work and a lot of money that could have been put into better places.
Right.
I would have
Do you
much
think-
preferred a non-voiced protagonist.
Right. Do you think that they rushed it at all
Um,
since it came out so quickly after release? I know they'd been working on it forever, but do you
I
think
would
that it would
say-
have benefited from a little bit longer.
I think there's a lot of things that feel like they might have been rushed, but I also don't know. It feels a lot like to me like they had the tools to do a lot of things. Like they gave people the tools that they use to make the game, so that's how they do like the not the same tools, but a lot of the same tools for like the crafting systems and stuff, like the base building and things.
Right.
Which is cool, but then it makes it so that every base you find looks like something that somebody could make inside of like their own base builder. So like nothing looks super unique, I guess.
Right.
So it's like it suffers from having so much already in it, and they're like, how cool is it that we can make our whole game basically out of these same tools?
Right.
But then it also makes things worse because you don't have like places that feel super unique. You have cool looking places.
But they're made out of assets that you've seen a million times.
Exactly. Things look really reused all over the place, and again, they do a good job with like some of my favorite parts about Fallout that I like over Elder Scrolls. They do a really good job of telling tiny stories with the environment.
Yeah.
So you can walk into a house and you'll have like skeletons positioned in certain places or something that like gives you the idea of what happened in that house or that place before the bomb dropped. Sometimes you have like skeletons fighting each other, or sometimes
Right,
they'll
so,
just
like,
be
the
laying in
sets are
bed.
really cool.
Yeah, the sets are cool, and they do a lot with the assets that they have.
Yeah.
But it also feels like on top of all the bases being kind of cookie cutter, that all of the quests kind of feel cookie cutter as well, and that's a big issue when they make up so much of the game.
Right.
And I will say specifically the Minutemen quests.
I hate those quests.
They're-
I've done so many of them.
Do they end? Do they
I
ever
don't
end?
think they end. I've
I-
done a lot of them.
I don't think they end either. So basically, it's like you go to a settlement, and the settlement's like, we're being attacked by raiders all the time. And then you're like, okay, go to the raider base and kill the raiders. And we're like, okay.
I've even gotten repeats of those quests, like
Right.
in the same area.
Yeah. So, and then it's just like, go to place, kill raiders, return, and they thank you and give you caps.
Right. I went too fast. Sorry.
So it's one of those things that I'm just like, I love raiders, and I like the idea that they're kind of just like the default easy enemy, but I hate how often you run into them, especially in quests. Like, I feel like quests should be more spaced out and better, and it's really easy to feel that way, especially when you go from a game like The Witcher or something, where every quest feels like really different. I don't know, like every side quest feels kind of like written in and like
Yeah.
well done, and you have like they're miniature tiny stories, as opposed to just like a quest, like a little MMO quest.
Right,
It reminds me a lot of like MMOs, I think.
Yeah. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Because you want to feel like invigorated and excited about the whole story. Like, even like I'm even fine with doing like do this quest so that I'll give you the information to do what you want to do.
Right.
Like that gives me more impetus.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because it gives me like heart behind whatever it is that I'm doing. Even if it's like go kill 15 things and bring them back, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this for a good cause. Sort of like I'm doing this for a reason. It's not just because like someone was like, my daughter ran away. She's like over in that forest over there. Will you go get her for me while I just stand here?
Yeah. I think the big thing for me too is that they show hints of having like cool quests and interesting little mini stories, and there's a few of them. Have you done the Forge quest yet, Emily?
That was amazing.
For the shish kebab?
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, so that's a Minuteman quest too, but that's a Minuteman quest that actually has like a payoff and like characters invested in it, right? Where you're going to fight these like special raiders who use this big forge that they found to make weapons, like an armor, so they're like all crazy like metal work and stuff. And then you get to the end and like the guy who sent you on the quest, his son like took his family sword, which is the shish kebab, and
That's called.
yeah, and it's a throwback to the other games. But yeah, to get the shish kebab, and like his son has like left him and his family to go join these raiders who are really well personalized, like these special raiders where they have like they have terminals around that talk about like they all have like their own nickname system, and they all have cool nicknames, and they have this whole terminal of how they're feeding people to the forges as like a rite of ritual and passage.
Sorry.
So like there's some background to these enemies you're about to murder and slaughter all over the place that you don't have to look at, but you can, and it gives them a little bit more personality, which is cool. And then of course I just shot and then blocked my own shot. But like you get to the end of that mission, and like the brother is there, and he's in his like, what's that called, where they're trying to get him to like when you draw into a sorority, what's that called? Like it's not hazing, but like rite of passage sort of thing.
Sure.
And he has to like kill a guy who's fucked with him. And like you have to.
Snarky.
Well, he did it to me earlier, but to be fair, I deserved it. You have to, like, he's there, and he's about to push this guy into the big forge pit, and, like, there's a guy with power armor, and he has the shish kebab, and, like, it's just, like, kill him now, and you, like, walk in, and you're all hidden in the shadows, so they're about to do this whole ritual thing. And you can try to talk him down, or you just can sneakily, like, assassin him, or, you know, there's a bunch of different ways to do it, and it's like, oh, this is cool. Feels a lot more like the Fallout that I wanted, and then like every other Raider mission or like Minuteman mission is every other Minuteman mission is like, hey, these Raiders have been attacking our farms, kill them. And then you go there and it's just a bunch of Raiders in a big building, and you shoot them and they're dead. And I'm like, well, and then you come back. It feels a lot like a fetch quest.
Right.
And they're like, the nearby Raiders have been attacking us, and then you look at the map and they're like literally across the map, and you're like, what do you, these can't be the Raiders. These guys are like 3 days walk away from you.
Right.
Which leads credence to the whole fact that I think they're randomly generated, right? Where like, oh, I fucked that up. Where they're randomly generated, where they're like, you start the mission and then it just kind of picks a Raider location from the map for you to go kill, as opposed to being like, this area is this Raider mission.
Right.
Which is, the Forge one is like that because you're always going to go talk to Abraham, and he's going to want his sword back, and you're going to always have to go to the Forge, and they have personality. Like, it feels written as opposed to randomly generated.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything against randomly generated games, obviously. Loving Isaac and stuff, but I think they have their own place, and I think in a storytelling RPG is not that place.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. When you want to world build, random generation is not the way you want to do it.
Right.
In any form, like any part of it that you're doing, random generation is not the way you want to do it. But yeah. So again, I liked, as much as I'm shit talking Fallout 4, I like it, and I like playing it.
I don't see it as shit talking.
Yeah.
I understand.
It's just one of those things where it's like it could be so much better. I mean, my hope is that like the DLC does that. Like my hope is that the DLC, and as much as I'm like, you know, it's DLC, so you feel kind of bad about saying this, but like I've had a history of really enjoying Fallout DLC.
Right.
A lot. In New Vegas there was like one that I didn't like. Did you play the new? No, it wasn't. No, it was Dead Money. Dead Money's cool, but it's annoying. I think that's the biggest issue with it. But at least it's like interesting. And then Fallout 3 had awesome DLC aside from Project Anchorage. So they usually have like one DLC that's not very good. Who hit me there? Because you, Emily, you helped me put that in. There was no way I was making that shot. Look at this.
That's it.
Oh no!
Well, it's the calculated. What did we call it? I don't remember. Calculated battery.
Team attack? I don't know.
I don't know. You know what I mean? This one was a different
developer from New Vegas.
From New Vegas, yeah.
Right, it's the same.
3, right?
Yeah, it's the same as 3.
Right. They just immediately started working on 4.
Right, and I think 3 is actually still really good, and I think it has a lot of the things that Fallout 4 doesn't, which is what throws me off. Like if it was like a different company that made it,
right, it'd be understandable.
Right.
Or at least
or a different team, yeah. And a lot of people like give it to Obsidian because Obsidian story writing is really good.
Nice.
So, who knows? We might get a New Vegas 2 at some point.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Right.
Especially with how well 4 went over and
Right.
broke sales records and stuff. I would be very surprised if they didn't make some kind of sequel. And I think the fans are all asking for New Vegas 2.
Huh. It'd be cool to be a different town too.
Yeah, and I do like that. I like that the town, at least Boston, feels different. There's a lot of water, which is awesome. I hate that there's nothing in the water, but I like that the town itself and like the area feels different than the other areas.
Yeah.
More specifically, more like fishing related things.
Right.
I actually really enjoy seeing Mirelurks as a main enemy because they are so badass and weird. It just sucks that, you know, there aren't any more enemies, or there's no bosses, really. Again, it feels a lot like an MMO, where they're like, here's the boss enemy for this great, you know, side quest, and it's just an enemy that you've seen, but like a different color.
Right.
Or something, and you're just like, oh. I guess.
Right. Oh, he's the big bad one.
And you're like, oh. Looks a lot like the other ones.
How? That was amazing.
For fun.
That's not how you answer that question.
I did it! I did an Emily shot.
You did. I thought it was Emily for a second.
You saying I can't do anything cool?
I'm saying you can't do what Emily can do.
That's valid. But yeah, what do you think about Fallout 4, Emily?
I don't know. I guess, yeah. It just felt really empty.
Yeah.
Throat scratchy, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No worries. No, it did feel really empty. I think it feels super full at the very beginning of the game, too. And then super empty, like, only a little bit in. Because I remember starting it up and playing it and being like, the first... I would say it's even based in, like, levels. I would say up to, like, level 9, 8 or 9. The game felt, for one, seriously really fucking hard. Like, I remember dying to, like, my first raiders. And being like, this is terrifying. Like, I've never had a Fallout game where I'm dying to raiders immediately. But then after that, the game feels a little bit easier, and then you start doing more and more side quests and kind of realizing that they're all the same, and I don't know. It has a really nice, like, first few hours, and I think that's fine.
Right. 'Cause that's important.
And I think that's what most people are going to play, right? Like, if you think of the average audience playing a Fallout game, they're probably going to play the first few hours. There are some people who are going to play more than that. Most people are probably going to play through the story. And then I think a decent number of people are just going to drop it a few hours in. So it really appeals to, I think, those people who play it until it gets boring. And then you're like, that was all I needed. And you're like, well, there you go.
That's also not a reason to stop making it good. Or stop making it, like...
And have that game feel kind of disappear after that short amount of time. And it goes into that idea of, like, a gameplay loop that is super fun, where, like, the mechanics are good, so, like, it feels good to shoot and kill things, and that's about what keeps you playing, basically.
That was awesome.
There's nothing else really there for you, unfortunately. After the story, anyway. The main story. Which is probably why my series is gonna end immediately after I finish the story. Unless, I feel like I'm getting close. I don't know if I am. Like, I don't actually know where the story ends because I haven't had it spoiled for myself.
That's good.
But
I think you've got about a fourth of the game left.
yeah, I would imagine as well. Because I've gotten into the Institute, done all that stuff.
Are you done with it, Emily?
Yeah.
Are you still playing it at all, or were you like, nah?
No.
She's
tried,
done.
like, there was nothing to do.
Yeah, there is nothing to do
That's too
afterwards.
bad.
Unfortunately. Yeah. And they made a big deal about, like, the game doesn't end when you finish it. It's like, you know, because the other, wasn't New Vegas, like, the game ends immediately after you finish the story. And you can't really do anything else. They're like, you can play even after you finish the story, and you know there's no level cap, so you can get progressively stronger all you want. But I'm like, I'm not even close to the done with the story, and the game is super fucking easy, and I'm playing either on hard or like very hard or survival. Like I'm playing on like one of the 2 highest difficulties. I don't remember which. I know I was playing for survival for a while, but I might have gone down just because enemies literally. It's not like the game is harder, but enemies just take 1,000 more shots.
Right.
But yeah, the game is super easy, and to be fair, I'm probably playing one of the better builds, I guess.
Right.
Where I was like, I want to be a melee character, and then I decided to play as a melee character, and you don't have to worry about ammo. A lot of your stuff gives you like damage resistance, like a lot of your perks.
Yeah.
And stuff. And like melee gets super fucking dangerous. Like.
Right.
I got to the point where like a swing from one of my melee weapons is stronger than a big gun shot, right?
Oh my gosh.
Like it takes like 2 of my swings from my baseball bat to be the equivalent of a fat man. So I'm like, what's the point? And then like one of the last level perks you get for melee weapons is you get like AoE in front of you, so when you hit an enemy in front of you, it hits all of the enemies in front of you. And so I can just kill like everyone. And they have an ability, like a perk that lets you, because you can use VATS, right? And you kind of need to use VATS with melee.
Right.
Just because you don't get a lot of the bonuses unless you don't. Unless you do, my bad. But, like, obviously there's a specific range for it. But there's a perk that increases the range to be, like, stupidly far, which I love. But it's so silly because I can, like, I can be across the room, use VATS, and then teleport across the room to an enemy who is, like, behind cover and just blow up his head. Like, I can be behind cover, VATS him from behind cover, appear behind him, attack him, and kill him. And if I don't teleport, my character just swings at the air, and then their head explodes. So, yeah, I don't know. It seems super easy at this point. And I'm like, oh. Like, all of the missions are like, we're gonna need a lot of stuff going in here. And then you, like, go in, and...
You're like, nah.
No, it's just like a one-man thing, and I'm just murdering everybody, and it takes no time. And you're like, alright. Or, I did a lot of exploring beforehand, and I killed this raider base. And then for, a main story mission, they're like, you have to go to this raider base and kill this guy. And I went back, and there was, like, 3 new guys who had spawned, but then everybody else was dead. Because I had already killed everybody.
Right.
And I was like, okay. I went up to the roof, and there was the guy I needed to kill. I was like, alright. No problem. Oh, I don't know. It's good. It's not bad. It's okay. It's not Game of the Year. I think Witcher's been more fun for me. Right. Bloodborne was more fun for me when I played it. I even forgot that Bloodborne came out this year. Because it was the beginning.
Phantom Pain.
Yeah, Phantom Pain came out this year too. I only played like 30 hours of that. 30 hours. I haven't finished it. I'm not even close to finishing Phantom Pain. But yeah, I don't know. Rocket League is probably the game I put in the most time into this year.
Right.
Like even above Isaac, I think. Because I was at 200 hours when Afterbirth dropped. I'm at like 300 something now, right? And then Rocket League dropped after... No, before Afterbirth. Way before Afterbirth. But I've got like 300 something hours, or 200 something hours in Rocket League. I don't know.
How many I have anymore. I think it's over 100. But not by much, I don't think.
Hey, guess what?
Rocket League. What?
Silas.
Oh.
Where are you?
Oh.
Yeah, it still exists, fool.
Alright, I don't know what was happening last night.
I bet
maybe they took it down and then everyone complained and they put it back up.
Yeah, I wonder if snow day is like a permanent thing now. Because it was only supposed to go.
Winter or something.
Yep. Oh no!
I think it'd be worth it to keep it all the time, even though it's not like thematically quote unquote appropriate.
Yeah, you could turn it into like just call it like a different thing, or keep it as snow day.
Yeah.
I wish they would split up the mutators too, so you could play which ones you wanted. I just
Yeah,
want to play
that'd be cool.
Moonball.
Just play Moonball.
That'd be cool. I feel like it's probably coming.
I would imagine. I mean, you can do that on like private matches, but obviously, that's not where most people spend their time in this game.
Nice.
Nice shot. But yeah, I'm trying to think of like other games I really enjoyed. I can't even think of what games I played this year.
Yeah.
Really, I really like Castle in the Darkness. That game was a lot of fun. It was super short and like $2. Soma, yeah, I really like Soma. Apparently it didn't sell too well,
Sorry.
which is weird. I thought it was better than Amnesia,
I didn't
personally.
realize it was the same
Company? Yeah. Oh, that was close.
I missed that twice.
It's hard.
Kinda, but when it's flat like that, you know, like it was
Right.
parallel with the wall. That's like the easiest version of it, and I missed that on the last point and this point. Silly.
But yeah, Soma. I thought Soma was awesome. For some reason, I think the main thing people are contributing it to is that it wasn't really a horror game, really.
Right.
It was like a science fiction story-based exploration game, which was awesome.
I think that's fine.
Yeah. But also people were expecting like another Amnesia, so you had like people playing it on YouTube who were trying to do like scare cam stuff, and it just wasn't working
Right.
because there's nothing to scare cam at.
It's like thrilling, but it's not. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that happened. Undertale happened, obviously.
Yeah.
Got voted GameFAQs best game of all time.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
I'm really curious if NL will ever play it.
He said he will. I don't suspect he won't, but I think
Yeah.
like he will be like me, where I thought it was really good, but it's not gonna be my favorite game of all time.
Right.
Like I don't think it's gonna. It didn't blow my mind, though it was really cool and really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And I think because I went into it kind of knowing what it was, and like this was not a first time thing for me, and I had
Yeah.
seen footage about it and all that stuff. I don't know. Still really good though.
I got it that time.
Nice shot.
Her Story won like best indie game of the year.
It's really good, and I'm really upset that it crashed while I was streaming it, and then it didn't save.
Right.
So now I'm like, now
Now I don't really want to play through it.
I don't want to go back over because like there are a lot of things that I haven't seen still. I know that, but I was getting kind of close.
Right.
But I was also like working on it with you and like with everyone who was watching,
Yeah.
not just by myself.
The other game that I want to know about, you played it a while back. It was by the same guy who did oh fuck, I don't remember what it was. It was the game is like it's all like done in like weird line art that's yellow, almost. It's not like a line art, but like everything is made of lines, and like you have the ability to like freeze time or something and relive these moments that have happened.
The one
Oh.
that you showed me?
Yeah.
The Curse of the Oberdeen?
Yeah, Curse of the Oberdeen. I'm excited for when that comes out.
Yeah.
I can't remember what other game they did though.
Papers, Please.
Papers, Please. Right. Yeah, so I'm excited for Curse of the Oberdeen because that was awesome. And
Yeah. I showed it to Charlie one night, like like over the summer, I think. He was like streaming on this nice.
Hey, you.
He was like, I don't know, he like made this secondary account because he just wanted like a couple of people to be there with him, and so it's just like me and Nos and like 2 other people.
Right.
And I had mentioned it to him in the past, and he was like, "Oh, I love Papers, Please. Like, I should check this out." So then he checked it out that night, and we just like he played through the whole thing, and then I think everyone else had left, and it was just he and I, and he was just like walking around, and we were just talking about the development of it, like the use of audio and the way the cool visuals look and work, and the like animation for the hand opening, like your hand extends to open doors,
Right.
and it like opens upon proximity to the door, but it like moves really well,
Right.
and it's just like, even though it's such a simple demo as far as like, I don't know, controls go and stuff,
Right.
and just the things that happen are very simple,
Right.
it's just like so fluid and beautiful.
Yeah, no, the game is awesome. I'm excited to see what happens upon its full release and what kind of game it actually ends up being and the scope of it, I guess, too.
Yeah.
Where, like, I don't know, like, it'll be interesting to see whether or not it's like a straight playthrough story, or if you're a detective and you do multiple cases, or what's going on.
Does it all take place in the boat, or does it go a couple of other places?
Right.
Nice. I just realized we're 6-0.
Yeah, the two of their like actual players just left, and the only player who's not a robot is just standing there now. So we're rocking them. Good job, Emily. Kick this butt. Woo!
Oh.
Oh no!
You guys did like a perfect symmetrical movement.
Did we? Oh, well, he forfeit. Why would you forfeit in Snow Day?
Can that happen?
Yeah.
Doesn't it just
Replace with AI? Well, when all the regular players run out, it just restarts.
But doesn't it just open? Doesn't it just filter in new people though? I mean, it's the same as playing like.
Oh god. Yeah, it does, but it doesn't.
It doesn't calculate people in time or something.
Yeah, if there's no people joining into the computer spots by the time that the last like regular person leaves. No, I want to land on the puck. I want to land on the puck.
Locked. Have fun landing on it.
I feel like the puck gets super bouncy after you've landed on it.
I think it does.
Landed on it. How could you?
Sorry. But also, no sorry.
Why would you do these things to me?
Brave Toaster.
HAL 9001.
Hey, are there any more movies about the future that we haven't hit yet? As far like they're
Oh, with the time.
the name of it is the year.
Oh, or like the place that they visit is like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea, man.
Because I think we've hit like all of them.
I mean, obviously, every time one comes out, a new one is like later in the future.
Yeah, but as of right now, I can't think. I mean, I'm sure there are some somewhere, but like, as far as big ones.
Like, I'm fairly certain like Ex Machina is set in the future.
Yeah, there are a lot that are set in the future, but they're not like. It's not the same as like 1984 or like 2001.
Oh, you're talking about like classics.
Yeah.
Okay.
And ones that are like, that is the whole plot, and not just like Ex Machina is in the future. So is like Her though, like Her's in the future too.
Right.
And both of those are like the the next 50 years or something.
But the point is that not that it's the future, but it's more about like the subject matter.
Yeah.
As opposed to like a Back to the Future, where the whole point is that you're in the future.
Right.
Right. And this is
and it's like Back to the Future is like a silly version of it, right? Because like 2000, they're all pretty different though. I mean, like 2001 is like a
nice shot there.
an artistic representation of the realistic future,
right?
And then 1984 is like a sort of theoretical interpretation,
right?
Which is like pretty much true.
Yeah, like fairly accurate.
Yeah. Although that was only like 20 years or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it was written like it wasn't that far in the future when it was written, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know when George Orwell was alive and writing stuff, but
yeah. The great thing about like 1984 too is that like it's a lot of it is really accurate to how things really are.
Right.
Except he didn't include subtlety, basically. Like the people who are in control trying to be subtle about the things they're doing instead they're super ham-fisted.
Right.
Like if it had just been like, but they're clever and sneaky about it, it would like literally be the exact future.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess we wouldn't have, who would have known that we would have mobile telephones? Not me.
Well, you were too.
I wasn't 2 when 1984 came out.
No, I know. But
How old do you think I am?
I'm talking about 1984. I just mean like you were very young until you had the capacity to like. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
I was just trying to grasp it, and I can't. I'm not grasping.
It's okay. You don't need to grasp all the time.
I want to grasp most of the time. Nice job. Oh no!
I bonked you, I'm sorry.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I almost landed on top of that.
This is a mess.
Yep. I don't have boost! I don't have boost!
Sorry.
I have a little bit of boost now. Oops. Oops!
Oops. It's very satisfying to hit it along the wall.
Yeah, it is. Ah! Ah! Ah!
I'm coming. Nope.
Oh dear. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's any other, like...
I just shouldn't have moved.
That's okay, Salas. None of us should have moved. What's the point? We're all gonna die someday anyway. Why play Rocket League? Everyone just stand still. Watch the puck for 5 minutes.
I want to die a winner.
You want to die in winter?
A winner.
Oh, you want to die a winner. I thought you said you want to die in winter, and I was like, oh.
I'm not opposed to dying in the winter.
Yeah. I mean, your body wouldn't swell up and bloat and then explode like in the summer.
Is that what happens?
Yeah! If you leave your body out in the summer heat, it just...
Why would my body be left outside?
I don't know. I don't know where you're dying. That's what happens when you leave bodies out in the sun, man. The gases on the inside bloat up and they just explode. That's what happens to dead cows that die on farms, too.
I imagine probably most mammals.
They just bloat up and they explode, and then you're like, well, now I gotta deal with this dead cow carcass that exploded on my farm.
Or you could just take care of it before it explodes. And you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, you don't keep track of your cows like that, though.
No? Only in the winter you keep track of them?
No, I'm saying in the winter, even if you accidentally leave them out, they'll get preserved by the ice.
So even when it's really imperative, you just leave them alone. You're like, who cares? If they die...
Well, I assume that if you have cows, you have like a lot of land, and you're not going to be able to like notice that they're gone all the time.
But you need them for a reason. You don't want them all to die.
No.
Yo, if you care about them being exploded on your farm, you probably care about like their livelihood.
I don't know what kind of giant animals live on my farm that could kill cows.
Why don't you know what's in your farm? It's very irresponsible of you.
As someone who's lived
What
on
does
a farm,
your father say?
as someone who's lived on a farm, I can tell you that like it wasn't our choice to have like mountain lions on our farm. It just happens.
Doesn't mean you're just gonna like not give a shit if your cow dies.
No, but also it's like 100-something acres, and you're like, where are my cows? I don't know. They're just wherever.
Probably just leave its body there so it explodes.
Yeah, but how are you gonna look through 100 acres, man?
But if you care in the first place that there's an exploded cow in your farm.
Well, I'm just saying. Then one day you're wandering around, then you see the exploding cow, and you're like, well,
You're like, I got it coming to me because I didn't take care of it.
guess so. I guess you know more about the farmlands than I do.
Just the consequences of it. I'm a very cultured individual.
My least favorite part about the farm, living on the farm, are the turkeys, man. Fuck
Wild
turkeys.
turkeys?
Yeah, they're aggressive as shit.
Really?
Yeah, they're angry birds. The iPhone app is a misnomer because none of the birds are turkeys, but they all should have been turkeys.
You don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
They could be turkeys.
I've never seen a red turkey in my life. I've also never seen a bomb turkey in my life. Or whatever the other thing that the birds do in Angry Birds.
I don't know.
I don't think I've
They're
played
like
Angry
yellow
Birds.
ones that split into 3.
There's a triple bird?
Yeah. It's like a fat bird, and then when you tap it, it explodes into more birds.
That's that's alien shit.
I know.
Oh, it's a brave little toaster.
Yeah.
Or brave toaster. He's not little anymore.
He grew up.
Yeah. That movie scared me as a kid, and I don't know why. Is there something creepy in that movie?
I have no idea. I don't remember.
Emily, do
I don't
you...
know if I
Creepy
ever even
parts.
saw it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of creepy parts.
Really? Is the Brave Little Toaster like a generally creepy children's movie?
Yeah. Like, there's this part where the air conditioner gets really mad and he just, like, blows up.
Oh,
And
dear.
he's a living air conditioner. But he's, like, one of their friends, and he just gets so mad that he explodes.
Does he die?
Wait, like,
Yeah. he's
oh my
dead.
god. That's
I don't
so
remember
sad.
that. But I might have just
He's-
blocked
he
it out.
dies just because he was so mad?
Yeah.
Why did he get so mad?
All the people were gonna go out on an adventure to find their owners, and he couldn't go because he was stuck in the window.
Oh,
That's pretty
that's
fucked
so
up.
sad. He just committed suicide because of it.
I think I remember that part vaguely.
And then there's like a part where they're in a junkyard and you get to watch all these living cars. get-
Yeah, that part I remember very, very well.
I do not.
That's fucked up.
I don't know if I've ever seen it, to be honest.
You never seen Brave Little Toaster?
I think so. I know, like, I know what it is, and I know the cover, but I don't know if I ever actually watched it. There were a lot of those movies that, like, I would just see at, like, Flicks and Picks when we were trying to get a movie, and because I, like, didn't know the story, I'd be like, who cares?
Right.
Because I could watch that, or I could watch, like, 101 Dalmatians, which I know I like.
Right.
And Aspen can't decide worth shit. They're just like, all the time. So then I had to pick one. Or it was like, alright, we've been here for 45 minutes, just pick one, or I'm gonna pick one for you. And I'm like, my dad has bad taste! So,
Can't let your dad pick the movie.
yeah.
He'll pick Despicable Me or the Minions movie. Despicable Me is pretty good. The Minions movie is not very good.
Have you seen it?
Yeah,
Why?
because my sister watches it.
Well, that's understandable.
Marco loves the Minions.
Really?
Yeah. He's the one who started the whole Minions thing for her.
Wow.
Yeah. Literally 90% of her toys this year for Christmas were Minions related.
Oh no. Because you know that's gonna be like Teletubbies for us, right? Where she's like, man, remember the Minions when I was like a tiny kid?
I don't know, man. Adults like the Minions. There's fucking old people who like Minions. Marco thinks the Minions are hilarious.
Because they're relatable, Aiden.
They're not relatable. They're tiny little yellow people who speak like literally every language in the world.
Yeah, but they can say banana, so
Oh my god.
you know they're fun.
What does a Minion say, Liesel? Banana. No. No.
No, he says "papoy."
What does
That's
that
it.
mean?
I don't know. It's just one of the things they say. I didn't write it.
It was a great block, by the way, Emily.
It was alright. It still went in.
Yeah, that was Silas's fault.
What? What did I do?
You just sit there and watched it go in.
Not true.
And you started speaking Minion language. I don't know if there's a correlation, but I like to believe there is.
I'm yellow.
You are yellow. It's true.
I don't know if it was my fault. I know it wasn't Emily's fault.
Emily, do you want to watch the Minions movie with me?
No.
You know what's crazy though? It's like the animation's really good.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting it. I was
No?
expecting it to be kind of cheap,
Why?
but they put a lot of work into it.
All
Well-
those good movies they do.
Well, like Despicable Me, I can understand because that's like that was the main film, but I didn't expect the knockoff film to have that level. And I think Despicable or the Minions movie might have better quality animation than Despicable Me.
Huh.
It really reminds me of like basically like a Pixar movie, but like with not good characters.
Were there other characters in it that weren't Minions?
There's a super villain named something Scarlet that they work for, and they accidentally betray her, I guess, but then she betrays them, and I don't know.
Are these? What's the story here? I mean, I thought like
So the Minions
Steve
like
Carell, created them.
no, that's retconned. They've existed for thousands of years, looking for the greatest villains to work for as minions.
Ah,
And
it's like same time frame or in the future.
this one takes place before the Despicable Me, like the Gru or whatever.
Yeah.
The
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell character is like a small child in this one.
Oh, weird. He's in it for a minute.
At the very end, yeah. Where they decide to team up. They're like,
Oh, I see.
yeah. Anyway, so it's like the Minions are going around for thousands of years looking for things to, I don't know, follow.
Yeah.
Because that's their thing, is they follow bad guys.
Whatever the verb of minion is.
Yeah, that. And then they meet this lady who decides she wants to be the best villain of all time. I can't remember what her name is. She's like the Red Queen. She looks like the Red Queen from Alice in Wonderland. She's Scarlet something. And they steal the crown from the Queen of England somehow, or maybe she just gives it to them. I don't remember exactly.
Right.
No, they're supposed to, and then one of them ends up pulling the sword in the stone, and it makes them the honorary King of England.
Naturally.
Yeah, and she gets super upset because they were supposed to steal the crown for her, even though, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then she gets it back. They give it to her. Like they pass the minions pass a law that allows them to give the kingdomship to somebody else, because normally you're not allowed to just give away the crown. I've explained the whole plot of this movie.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, and she gets super pissed that they betrayed her in the first place or something. I'm gonna exit back to the main menu and do a regular game. And I don't know, like she throws them out and then they kill her or something. I don't know. They shoot a nuke at her, or maybe she shoots a nuke at them and then they throw it back at her. I don't remember. All I know is that it ends with her being like, "I'm gonna kill you all," and then she's gonna kill them all, and then Gru freezes them with the freeze ray, and then he gets the crown and they leave. And
Cool.
that's the end of the movie. Yeah.
I don't even remember what my original question was.
What was it about?
Oh.
What's the plot line? Essentially, minions like to follow evil people for some reason.
Oh, right.
Luckily, they never ran into like a serial killer or something.
True.
Yeah. You notice that supervillains are like some of the worst villains of all time? Ever?
Compared to like robbers and
Regular villains?
assassins and shit.
Yeah, like most bad guys in real life. I mean, most of them do have the cartoony plot of like take over the world / destroy the world. But still,
It's like super high stakes and not just. It's like either you succeed or you don't, but the thing you're asking for is like insane. Versus
Right.
like I'm gonna steal some money, and then you steal some money.
right.
$1 million.
And they're like, that's not that bad. I've seen Austin Powers.
I'm pretty sure that's how that scene goes.
Yeah, he's literally
That's not that bad.
Yeah, he's like, oh, $2 million. Emily, you want to watch Austin Powers?
I watched that recently.
Really? Which
I've
one?
never seen. Okay, so Tom, I think, was telling me that like most people have seen the second one and think that the second one is
Is the first one? Yes.
I don't know if I've seen the first one. And I'm pretty sure I've not seen the third one.
Second one is the time travel one.
Okay,
And what's it called? His dad is Michael Caine.
Nice. Oh shit.
That was a nice block.
Nice.
That
Emily-
wasn't.
Nope.
His dad is Michael Caine. I don't recognize that. This is the first one or the second one?
I think it's the second one, isn't it? Maybe that's the first one. Maybe that's the first one. Second
I know
one.
I've seen the one.
His dad isn't in the first one.
His dad's not in the first one. That makes sense.
Do they all have Fat Bastard in it?
No, he's not in the first one.
He's in the second one.
And I know I've seen at least that one.
What's the story to the first one?
Shoot. Oh, he has like a. Dr. Evil has a giant missile and he's gonna launch it and start World War III unless they give him a bunch of money.
That's what I
the
thought.
second one?
That's the first one.
Oh, that is. Maybe I've seen them both. I don't think so though. I'd be surprised if I'd seen them both because I never.
I think I've seen Goldmember more than I've seen any of them, which is very
Is that
sad.
the third one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know which ones I've seen. I never really cared. Like when I was younger, I didn't really think it was that like funny. And also, like my mom wouldn't let me.
They're not that funny. They're okay. I don't remember them though, so I guess I shouldn't make snap judgments. Again, I've only seen Goldmember fairly recently, so.
Oh, sorry.
And Goldmember is, I think, pretty well known as the worst of them.
Is that the one that has like Beyonce or someone like that in it?
Yes.
But that was, I don't know. I don't think I've seen the second one.
I thought the second one was the one where he was frozen ice.
No, that's the first one.
Okay, is that the first one? Okay, so the second one has the time travel car.
Is the third one the one that's all about the mojo?
Yes.
No, that's
the first
wait.
one.
No, that's the second one.
Is that the second one? Then that's the one where he's in ice.
No?
Then he gets frozen at the end of the first one.
No, in the first one, like, he's in the 70s, and then Dr. Evil,
I had to
he
scratch
freezes
my eye.
himself and hides himself in outer space for some reason, and then he's, like, in modern time, and that's when he's unfrozen, and Austin Powers freezes himself so he can be unfrozen when Dr. Evil's unfrozen, too.
Right. But he gets his mojo stolen when he's in the block of ice.
What?
Yeah, because he gets they like drill into like his penis area and like take his mojo.
Maybe he gets frozen again.
I don't remember.
It's not out of the question.
This just happened to us recently too. I can't remember what movies. Where we were trying to figure out what the story was to like a classic movie series and we just couldn't remember it.
Right.
Star Wars.
Was it
5
Star
and
Wars?
6. Yeah, we got them mixed up.
Wow.
Oh yeah, we didn't know when Jabba happened. Isn't that 5? It's 6?
100%.
It's the end of 5, though, too. Because they freeze
That
Han
he's
Solo
in it, or
carbon.
what?
Because when do they freeze? They freeze Han Solo at the end of 5.
Yeah, they freeze Han Solo at the end of 5, but we don't see Jabba until the beginning of
6.
Okay.
Because we haven't seen Luke, we don't know what's up with Luke. Last we saw him, he fell out of Bespin.
Right.
And now he's all... When he walks into Jabba's palace, he's all hooded, and we're not technically supposed to know who he is.
Right.
And then we're like, oh shit, it's Luke, and like, oh shit, he's got a new lightsaber. Actually, that's later. But,
Yep.
Oh, yeah, he does have a green lightsaber later.
because
So you were right, Aiden.
the blue one, because the blue
Blue
one
one's
fell
o-
out of Cloud City when he got his hand cut off, which is
Right.
why it's crazy that Rey finds it.
Right, exactly. Where it's like, how did the lightsaber end up where it did? And isn't Cloud City over an ocean
Very
or
weird.
something, or like over some kind of the Now I'm thinking of the clone one. Fuck.
Oh, Jesus. I saw a building. This is an underwater hotel in Dubai.
Okay.
And the like out of water part of the building is like 100% what the buildings on Camino look like in Attack of the Clones.
Right.
It's like a circle with like 2 other circles.
I know exactly what you mean. Yes.
Do you actually?
Yeah. I played Battlefront 2 not that long ago.
Got it.
It's a level there.
I just watched this morning. I woke up and someone posted a little video of I think in episode 3 something. It's basically just like George Lucas decided to take these 2 shots and like meld them together. Basically, like it's like a shot of Palpatine talking to Anakin, and he just like melds the right half of the shot between 2 different takes of Anakin, so you can like see his face like morph halfway through the shot. And it was like top post on Reddit this morning as like, this is super weird and like, why did he choose to do this? And then someone posted a link to a video that was just like sort of behind the scenes of making Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
And there are like 11 seconds left. And it started with George Lucas in like the editing room with like the co-editor or whatever, looking at a shot of like Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and then the pilot dude, you know, the black dude in the red armor.
Right. Yeah.
In the ship, and then Obi-Wan like moves across the ship to go sit down at a different seat, and he's working with the editor and being like, hey, you see how Obi-Wan moves and sits down, and then like as he's sitting down is when the pilot like starts to move to sit down, and he's like, yeah, he's like, just loop the frames of him standing there and then make him move so they sit down at the same time, so they like sit in sync,
Right.
because like that'll look better. And the editor's like, all right, and it like shows the process for them doing that. And then George Lucas leaves, and there's like a little mini interview with the editor, and you can tell that he's just like disgusted with this like practice, basically,
Right.
of like, he said something to George Lucas, and then he said something to the cameraman too that was just like, he's editing he's like directing post filming
Right.
and like making changes to what he's already shot. And,
Right.
Like, this is fucking horrible.
Yep. I heard that he was like, in like an interview he said he hated the retro style of the Force Awakens.
I don't know. I read I saw like an interview about the creation of it and about his feelings about it, and he likened it to like if you have a breakup, you don't like go to their house and like see how they're doing or like stop by and see them at work. Like you just have to like let them be, and
Right.
if you're apart, then you're apart, and there's nothing you can do to change that. So just take it out of your life entirely.
Right.
And that was like how he felt about this, and how he was like, these are like, they were my children, and then they were like, not that they were like forced away from me, but like,
So they're his ex-girlfriend and his children?
yeah, no, this is his ex-girlfriend. Force
Gotcha.
Awakens, it's, but the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are
His children.
his children.
Gotcha.